Alright guys, welcome to the video. We're going to be taking a look at another game in the EBR 105, and this is going to be on Live Oaks. And Live Oaks is actually a pretty good map for light tanks, all things considered, right? It's not one of the best, but I actually do prefer it over a lot of other maps, mostly because there's just a lot you can do, especially if your team's going to take the east. You can run these like little ridge lines by this lake here, and it's very beneficial and very easy to do in something like the EBR 105, because you will spot people back in this area, and pretty much everyone from your team will be able to get shots at people like in this whole area here, and you'll be able to push this side of the map. But other than that too, I mean, you can also try and scout the city. I like to go in this area when I'm on the other spawn, and you can spot people coming in. You can give the team a lot of information on this map is what I'm saying, right? So I don't think it's useless to do these things as a light tank player, right? Some people think that even if you're spotting people, if there's no damage being done, that you're not providing the team any vital information. But honestly, if I'm spotting a third of the team coming into the city, that's giving my team a lot of information on who's not going to be in the east, right? So that's why I like to give the team information if I can. But once I'm done giving the team information, like here, we kind of figured out where the Vickers and like Sheridan were and stuff. Now I'm going to move in and start pushing to try and help the east, right? Because my goal is to win the east, because then we can counter again, as I was saying, this whole like D7-ish area, D8 area. And you'll see we get a lot of spotting from it, right? So I'm thinking, yeah, we're probably going to win this side of the map. A lot of people are pushing in here, and I see that most of them are on this side. Like, that's usually what's going to happen, right? You don't want to sit on this side, because then, like, these two people back here would have shots at you, and they would literally delete you off the map. So I'm just going to take advantage of this, and I'm going to start pushing in here. I noticed the Sheridan was over here. I think I do get a shot into this guy, get one into him there. And the Batch at 25T appears. This is not optimal, but with the EBR 105, I can kind of wiggle myself away here. I think he does hit me once, and he's going to want to basically FO, right? Because he's going to get whacked sitting there, right? And now we're able to spot the FE 4005. We're able to spot the 103B, and this FV does try and hit me here. He actually comes up and over and tries to hit me. I don't know how. You can see he's like trying to shoot his gun there, and it just doesn't. He told me, he actually messaged me at the end of the game and said that he went to shoot me and it just didn't work. Like, I'm like, okay, man, fair enough. But yeah, it was really risky for him regardless, right? If I die there, I die there, but like, he's going to die too. And the whole goal is for me to counter this, right? If he's going to try and push over, then it is what it is. Like, it's risky to sit there at an FE 4005 to begin with, and it's also a risky play to push this ridgeline because of that, right? But we're able to stay alive here, and because we're able to stay alive, we're basically going to have the best game combined that I will ever probably have in EBR 105, unless I get a really good game on like Prokhorovka or something, So people clean up the 2685 there. We're able to light him, and I'm just going to kind of play around with this 103B. I drive towards him a little bit, then I go dark, and I'm going to pull right back up in the same location, hit him here, and he's just in trouble, man. Like, I can do this all day. At some point, he's going to have to try and run away or just sit there, and like, there's nothing he can do, right? So eventually he's going to go down as well, and then we're going to advance here, and my goal is to now kind of see if I can spot this Vickers, give the team information here. If not, if we don't spot anyone with this little run, then I'm going to push the far east, like the 0 line. So I make a little run here. I don't really see anybody sitting in the back, so I'm thinking, all right, I'm just going to go ahead now and make an active run here and try and support the Centurion, the UDES, Leopard 1 and stuff, and the AMX. So I'm going to move up here. I want to make an active run. I don't want to just run at these guys right away, right? So what I'm going to do is actually just run the ridgeline here. My CVS pays off. I'm able to spot the E50 and the Vickers there. And this is what this tank is so good at doing, right? It's so good at making these little tiny like 180s and stuff like that, where you can kind of turn the speed mode off just for a second and then make a little 180 and keep going, right? So we do take a shot from the E50M there. I'm not too concerned about it. We still have 481 HP. We should be able to take a shot from somebody else now. I go to take a shot at this Batchat, and I don't know how that missed, but it missed. And now we can kind of advance here. We do have 6K spotting already, and we have over 2K damage. And if you get these wide open maps like this, and you have room to run around, this is where the tank is very, very fun, right? Gonna auto-lock the bat chat, gonna clean him up with an HE shell, and this is why the HE shells are also effective in this vehicle. You do 500 damage a shot with those, and it's 390 with the APCRs. The only thing I really do not like about this vehicle is the fact that heat is the gold rounds. I hate heat rounds. I do use one here on the K91. The auto lock goes in, and like this thing is just ridiculous. That last shot was literally a jump shot. I mean, we were mid-air and we hit him. And this is the thing with this tank, man. It's like if good players play it, you know what I mean. You're probably gonna win the game, right? Like if really good players play it. Oddly enough, I have like a 43% win rate over 90 battles with this vehicle. And I think it's just honestly a lot of bad luck. There's definitely games I've played that I could have won. I have jumped over ridge lines and killed myself because I'm just not aware of how fast this thing is. Like I said, I haven't played this vehicle up until this point. Like last week, I played like 90 battles with it over the course of a few days. And I'm telling you guys, like this thing, it kind of has a little bit of a learning curve, right? With the driving mechanics, right? You have to really understand the driving mechanics to play this tank well, or you're going to kill yourself like one in every 10 games. You're going to jump off a freaking ridge line somehow. Your tires are going to hit on one side and you're going to do a freaking barrel roll, right? And you're going to die. So just be really careful with the driving mechanics. Also understand that it takes some time to stop this vehicle because it's so fast. So when you're pulling up to a bush, you need to kind of stop like a second before you normally would with other light tanks, or you will go past the bush. Like remember that you're going 90 kilometers an hour. You're doing basically highway speeds, at least here in America. It's about highway speeds, maybe a little slower, but still you guys get my point. Just keep these things in mind, guys, you know. View range is not great on this tank, so I do run it with the bounty optics. I think I might actually have bond optics now. I was talking about this in the previous video I recorded, but I don't know which one you will see first. Other than that, yeah, the heat shells in this vehicle, I'm not a fan of heat shells just because they're so trollish when it comes to spaced armor and trying to shoot through tracks and all that stuff, right? Because they are essentially high explosive. So it's just annoying trying to make them work. And I swear, man, I threw a game. I loaded the heat and I went after a 60 TP thinking that I was going to clean him up. I went behind him and shot him like literally right in the back of the tank. And it's just because of the way the heat works. Like if you don't perfectly aim the shot, it like hit his part of his track or something. And he ended up killing me. And I threw the game because of that one shot. And this is why I just don't like heat, man. It is so unreliable. It's reliable when you're shooting flat tanks like E100, you know, Cheeks of the Mouse or something like that, or the E100 as well. Jagd Tiger, you know, Jagd Panzer E100, like these flat tanks, a lot of the German tanks, some of the British tanks as well, right? Like, I don't think there's not really like Churchills at this tier, but as an example, right? Like the Cromwell, the Churchill, like flat freaking pieces of armor, that's where heat excels. But when you're trying to shoot like the corners of tracks and stuff like that, like it never freaking pens, man. So be careful with the heat shells, guys. Other than that, like this tank is really good. You just have to understand the driving mechanics. You have to play it carefully, in my opinion. Again, I'm no expert with this tank, but I just play the tank like a normal light tank until I need to use its mobility, right? And obviously in this particular game, CVS did pay off. Always run CVS in the scouting slot, guys. For the extra reduction to camo for vehicles on the move and vehicles behind foliage. Other than that, I think that's all I wanted to say in this video. We did get 3 kills. We were flirting with 10k combined. I will show you the emplates. And yeah, just be careful with this vehicle. You know, that's all I have to say. Like, people just drive these things like maniacs, and you don't want to do that. 66-14 spotting, 3,031 damage, 3 kills, guys. This was a first class. And here we go. Here's the team score. We were top here, 1240 experience. And this guy, Taliban Mike, had a really good game in the Centurion. But yeah, the T100 LT is always going to be my favorite light, guys. Like this thing, and look, you can see over the first 31 battles I played with it, I had a 39% win rate. So I think I just wasn't getting great teams, and as my win rate has gone up, the games have gotten better, and also the games have gotten better because my win rate has gone up. It's just like, they always go hand in hand. really, in my opinion. Um, and I think I've just been kind of unlucky with teams. Like, I feel like I'm trying to do way too much in this vehicle with the teams I've been getting. But there also is a little bit of a learning curve to the tank, too. So I don't think I'm that great in it compared to other lights. Aiming time is also very, very good on this tank. That's another thing I wanted to mention. You can auto lock things, but I will say the gun is a lot more derpy than I thought. 0.33 dispersion, like, I never pay attention to this number. I always see kind of how the gun feels, and this gun feels derpy, you know. It just feels kind of derpy to me. I'm not going to lie. Um, Really, it might just be the caliber of the gun, but you will hit these absolutely wild shots in this thing from time to time. Um, and I still think it is borderline OP, but overall, I like it, guys. T100 LT is always going to be my favorite one, though. I just love that tank. It's so quick and versatile and fun to play. Catch you guys for the next one. Hope you've learned a thing or two from watching this one, and bye bye now.